the RPP code version 3.1 of January 2022. The matter is here for approval. Please take us through.
Yeah, Chairperson, I will introduce the matter, and Mr. Mwasheng and team, if they have anything to add, Chair, they will add, and also assist me in responding to the comments and questions that the members may have. Chair, the submission seeks approval of a temporary exemption for Castle Wind Farm from complying with clause 16 sub 1 of the renewable plant power plant grid code, specifically related to the submission of the validated RMS dynamic simulation model. Chair, clause 16 sub 1, it's a core grid code requirement as it enables the system operator and the NSP, the network service providers, to assess the dynamic impact of renewable power plants on grid stability as well as security. While Castle Wind Farm is already operational, and a technical defect in the PPC model of the ditch silent model prevented full validation of this RMS model within the original exemption period, Chair. And the original equipment manufacturer has now provided a corrected and fully functional model, and an independent grid code consultant has been formally appointed to complete this the RMS and EMT validation. The exemption requested is therefore, Chair, not an open-ended, but it is strictly time-bound, and it's only until the 28th of February 2026, with a clear remedial plan as well as milestones. Chair, the Grid Code Advisory Committee reviewed the application and recommended approval on the basis that the exemption does not compromise grid integrity. Importantly, Chair, the exemption is coupled with safeguards, and it's not deemed, and energy claims are permitted. Quarterly progress reporting is required, and the system operator, Chair, retains full curtailment and disconnection rights if at any point there is a risk that arises from this particular facility. We therefore request, Chair, that the subcommittee approve this temporary exemption until the 28th of February 2026, subject to the conditions that we have outlined on this particular submission. In essence, Chair, this is a managed low-risk regulatory accommodation for us to allow the technical validation to be completed without undermining grid security or setting an undesirable precedent. Chair, on that note, if Mr. Mwasheng maybe wants to add anything, we would like to recommend approval of this temporary exemption. Chair, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Matebula. Members, any questions of clarity on the temporary exemption? Anything that you have picked up that needs to be clarified? If none, members, I would like, I think the recommendation has already been read by Mr. Matebula. If you can kindly raise your hand for the support of the approval that is requested. Thank you, Mr. Pukula. Thank you, Mr. Mkize. Thank you, Madam Semane. Thank you, members, for the approval. The next submission again is on the temporary exemptions. We are now on item number 8 of the agenda. That is the temporary exemption for Gibson Bay Wind Farm, as well as Ilanga CSP 1 plant, and the rest of those other wind farms. Please take us through that.
Chair, thank you very much. Again, Mr. Mwasheng and team will assist me in dealing with comments and questions, as well as adding other things that I might have missed in my presentation. And Chair, the submission seeks approval of temporary exemption for 5 renewable power plants from complying with Appendix 9 of the RPP Grid Code, which governs 6-yearly routine compliance testing. The 6-yearly routine testing, Chair, is a critical safeguard to ensure that existing renewable plants continue to perform in line with evolving grid conditions. However, Chair, in practice, these tests are highly dependent on technical readiness, OEM availability, as well as suitable operating conditions. And these exemptions before the subcommittee are therefore not about avoiding compliance, Chair, but it's about enabling completion of technically sound testing without obviously compromising the grid integrity. The affected plants, Chair, as listed, are requesting a time-bound extension ranging from June 2026 to December 2026 to complete the outstanding routine tests under Appendix 9, as I indicated. And all applications were reviewed by the Grid Code Advisory Committee, which recommended approval on the basis that none of the exemptions compromises the integrity and security of the national grid. Chair, importantly, the exemptions are conditional and not deemed. Chair, energy claims are allowed and quarterly progress reporting is required, and the system operator and NSP retain full rights to curtail or disconnect should the risk arise at any given time during this exemption, Chair. And Chair, we therefore make a request that the Electricity Subcommittee approve this temporary exemption and also the associated conditions as outlined on this submission, Chair. We would like to therefore take any comments and questions that the members may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Members, any questions, comments on this submission by show of hands? If none, members, by show of hands, if you support the recommendations for approval of the temporary exemption for those 5 companies or IPP companies. Thank you, Madam Semane. Thank you, Mr. Pukula. I also support Mr. Mkize. Thank you very much, Mr. Mkize, for the support. We move on now to item number 9 of the agenda, which is again the temporary exemption. Mr. Matebula, please take us through.
Chair, thank you. And again, this submission, Chair, it seeks approval of temporary exemption for the 2 solar farms from complying with Clause 9 Sub 4 and Clause 9 Sub 8 of the RPP Grid Code, which relate, Chair, to power quality at the point of connection. Chair, power quality compliance is critical because harmonics and flicker and resonance violation can negatively affect network equipment and other customers. The code therefore requires strict compliance, but also allows for conditional time-bound exemptions where remediation is actively underway. The Genesis Solar PV Farm is requesting an extension, Chair, until the 31st of July 2026 to finalize this harmonic mitigation following failure of the active harmonic filter transformer and the subsequent firmware redesign. For the Gonkoin Sis, Chair, you must excuse me for the pronouncement. These are very exciting names. The solar farm is requesting an extension until the 31st of October 2026 due to delays in turning and stabilizing its active harmonic filter after equipment failure and also the complex commissioning challenges. Both applications, Chair, were reviewed by the Grid Code Advisory Committee, which recommended approval on the basis that non-compliance is understood, being actively mitigated, and do not pose an immediate risk to grid integrity. Chair, the exemptions are tightly controlled, and there is no deemed energy claims that are permitted, and the system operator and the network service provider retain curtailment rights, and enhanced reporting obligation also apply in regard to this exemption. Chair, in the case of Genesee, the committee explicitly recommended that this be the final exemption, reflecting obviously the regulatory escalation and accountability. Chair, it is on that note that we therefore request the committee to approve the temporary exemption and the associated conditions as outlined in this submission, Chair. We are open to respond to any question that may arise from this submission. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Matebula, for that. Members, any questions of clarity? Perhaps on the one of Agenis solar PV farm, if the team can do the regular monitoring, since there's a recommendation that it be the final temporary exemption that is allowed for this one, for this RPP. So between January 2026 until July 2026, it will be important then to make sure that there is a close monitoring to make sure that there is compliance and that the measures that they need to put in place are on track to make sure that there will be compliance come 31st July 2026. Perhaps that's something that the subcommittee may want to add for this one, since it is going to be the last time that the energy regulator needs to entertain a temporary exemption, as we also need to enforce compliance at some point rather than to go on with the temporary exemptions and nothing, or there's no improvement. So members, I just wanted to put that to you and see if you will be in agreement with the monitoring between January until July 2026, just to make sure that this RPP will be ready to comply fully with the RPP code, grid code. By show of hands, members, if you are in support of this additional recommendation. Thank you, Mr. Pukula. Thank you, Mr. Mkiza. Thank you, Madam Samani. With that, members, the other recommendations have been read out by Mr. Matebula on paragraph 14. All of them have been listed, including the one that, it's not listed, but I've read out the additional one. By show of hands, members, if you are in support of all of the recommendations enumerated on paragraph 14. Thank you, Mr. Mkize. Thank you, Mr. Pukula. I also support Madam Samane. Thank you, Madam Samane. Thank you, members, for your support and approval. Item number 10 of the agenda deals with NERSA's evaluation report on the Umhlatuze municipality's compliance with the distribution grid code network planning requirements for 2024-2025 financial year. Please take us through this submission.
Chair, thank you very much. This submission, Chair, it's here for noting this. It presents the NERSA's evaluation report on the Umhlatuze municipality compliance with Section 7 of the Distribution Network Code for the 24-25 financial year. Chair, as I indicated, the decision sought from the committee, it's mainly to note the distribution network planning, Chair, is a foundational compliance requirement, and weakness in planning directly translate into reliability risks, under or overinvestment, and ultimately customer service failure. And Chair, this audit therefore focuses less on individual project and more on whether the municipality planning framework is robust, repeatable, as well as compliant. Chair, the audit was conducted in line with the framework, the distribution planning audit, and assessed 6 capital projects approved during the 24-25 financial year. Each project was tested against 14 aspects of Section 7 of the DNC. And overall, the audit found that Umhlathuze municipality complies with most technical planning requirements, including load forecasting, technical studies, as well as identification of capacity constraints. However, Chair, the consistent weakness were identified in the economic and financial planning discipline, particularly the application of the least life cost approach, and Chair, the use of the COUE values and the determination of the discount rates. Chair, across all the 6 projects, the compliance profile was consistent. 9 aspects were compliant, 3 particularly compliant, and 2 non-compliant. And Chair, this indicates systematic planning gaps rather than isolated project failures. Chair, the municipality has submitted a corrective action plan committing to review and update its NDP by December 2026, with budget already allocated in their 26-27 financial year. Chair, the regulator team will actively monitor implementation of this CAP and escalate enforcement should the commitment not be met. Chair, it is on that note that we request the subcommittee to note this evaluation report and the associated corrective action plans, Chair. We are open to take any comments and questions that may arise. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Matebula. Members, any questions, comments on this submission? By show of hands, members, if you do. Looks like the members are happy with the explanation, and also the fact that the corrective plan and the progress report will be submitted at least by December 2026, so that we can see whether the municipality complied with the corrective measures that needs to be put in place. With that, members, by show of hands, if you are in support of the noting and also the submission of the progress report by December 2026. Thank you, Mr. Pukula. Thank you, Mr. Mkize. Thank you, Madam Semane. I also support. Thank you very much, members. I am now on item number 11 of the agenda. This is NERSA's audit report of NTCSA's demand response program for 2024-2025 financial year. Please take us through the submission.
Thank you very much. I see Mr. Mkize's hand. I'm not sure. Okay.
Apologies, this was a lingering one.
No problem. Thank you, Chair. This submission it presents our audit report on the NTCSA demand response program for the 24-25 financial year. Chair, the decision sought, it's for the subcommittee to note the report. The demand response, Chair, it's obviously the critical short-term system balancing mechanism that is particularly under constrained generation condition. And it actually directs or directly affects the security of supply, tariff efficiency, and the credibility of the system operation. This audit, Chair, therefore, focuses on whether the demand response funding is properly governed, effectively implemented, and delivering value for money. Chair, the audit was conducted in line with the NESA's IDM DR performance verification framework, which covered the period of April 2024 to the 31st of March 2025. It assessed control over procurement, contracting, dispatch, payments, measurement and verification, and compliance with compensation methodologies. Chair, the program achieved full compliance across all audit areas with no significant or minor findings reported. Notably, Chair, the program underspent its allocated budget by 276 million while exceeding its demand reduction target by 143 megawatts. Chair, the underspend is not a performance failure. It is largely driven by increased use of negotiated price agreements contracts, which allow demand curtailment without financial compensation. Chair, this reflects improved commercial efficiency and better optimization of demand response as a system tool. The audit confirms, the Chair, that payment were properly authorized, certified, capacity matched actual performance, and procurement was fair and compliant, and contracts aligned with the approved compensation methodology. Chair, therefore, it's on that note that we request that the subcommittee note the audit that the team has conducted, and this audit report and its conclusion as indicated on the submission, Chair. We are open for any comments and questions that may arise from this submission. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matebula. Members, any questions on the submission? Yes, Mr. Pukula, you may go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I could not make out from the RCA rules, and I think this is really a matter arising, so it's not a matter that that should have been addressed in particular in this submission. But on the RCA rules, whether savings of 276 is now going to be money that Eskom can take, or the RCA rules do, in fact, they do not factor the upside that is brought by the NPAs. So I would just like the colleagues to consider that, and maybe as a matter arising, come up with a solution on how this savings will be treated in the RCA in view of the fact that it is not clearly defined. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Pukula, for that. Mr. Mkhize?
Mine is just only to highlight that it will be important for the team, especially when it comes to auditing, to also reflect in terms of resource requirement, whether the resources are adequate, whether we're talking of HR or financial resources, as well as others, so that whatever that we do, we actually maintain the level of excellence that we require, and also just to flag any needs in that regard. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Mr. Matebula and the team, if you can kindly respond to the two questions of clarity, but the other one anyway from Mr. Pukula is also a suggestion for the team to also just bring as part of matters arising in the next meeting as to the solution on how to deal with these savings in the RCA application. But if they can also just clarify how how this is this is dealt with in the rules for the RCA. Please deal with
Chair.
the person who's yes.
Yeah, Chair. Thanks, and I should indicate that the point raised by the Chair, Mr. Bukula, it's really important for us, and together with the EPT team and the team that conducted the audit, Chair, we are going to sit together and consider what Mr. Bukula has proposed, and we, as requested, Chair, we will bring the feedback as requested. But if the team wants to add on that, I think they can assist me. On the resources, Chair, we do take note, but I also want to indicate that there is also different types of audits that we do from the licensing side, where we consider all those matters regarding the financial management, the resourcing, and all that. So this particular audit, Chair, obviously was guided by the scope that we were dealing with. So to just avoid duplicate reporting on the same matter, Chair, I think the part of resources we will mostly cover it when we do our audits on the license and license condition side. But Chair, we take note of the recommendation. I'm not sure if maybe the team wants to add anything, Chair. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Is there anything who usually deals with the demand response?
Thanks, Chair. I think from my side, I agree with Mr. Matibula. The RCA part rules we will have to look as well as it, and also his comments about the HR. I'm covered on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. In the next meeting, the team will bring a submission that will be attached as part of the matters arising to deal with the issue that is raised by Mr. Pukula insofar as the RCA rules are concerned, what they provide, and how the savings itself will be dealt with in the RCA. And also, I think to a certain extent, the issue of risk that has been raised by Mr. Mkhize. With that, members, I would like the members to raise their hands to show support for the approval, for the noting of the what we call of the audit report for NTCSA's demand response program for 2024-2025. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Mr. Pukula. And Madam Semane, I also support. Thank you, Madam Semane. Thank you, members, for your support. Members, I'm now on the next agenda item, and that is item number 12 of the agenda. That is for the transmission audit submission for third quarter of 2025-2026 financial year, and the consolidated report on the audits conducted on NTCSA's main transmission substations. It's new audits as well as re-audits. Please take us through the submission.
Chair, indeed. I think Mr. Hopper and the team, they will add if I miss anything on this submission. Chair, again, the decision sought before the committee or the subcommittee is actually to note this report. And the report on the submission presents the consolidated report on transmission compliance audit conducted at 11 NTCSA main transmission substation during the third quarter of this financial year, Chair. And obviously the transmission asset condition, Chair, is a leading indicator of system reliability. And this audit therefore focuses not only on compliance, but on identifying the early warning signs that could translate into outages, safety risks, or future cost pressures if not addressed timelessly. The team audited the 11 substations across the western and southern grids, 8 new audits and 3 re-audits, Chair, as you alluded to. And the audit was conducted using the non-intrusive inspection, documentation reviews, as well as analysis of the DGA results. The audit assessed compliance with license condition, as well as grid code requirement, focusing on plant condition, maintenance practices, as well as asset risk. Chair, overall, the transmission asset audited were found to be generally good and serviceable condition, with maintenance procedures largely adhered to. However, the report identifies recurring conditions-related issues, notably oil leaks on transformers and reactors, lighting deficiencies, signage deterioration, and delayed servicing of safety equipment, which, while not constituting immediate non-compliance, certainly requires attention to prevent future risks. Chair, the findings are systemic rather than isolated, and similar issues recur across substation, indicating asset aging and execution risk rather than isolated operational failures. Chair, the report therefore serves as a form of an early warning instrument rather than enforcement trigger at this stage, in our view. And the individual audit report has been issued to NTCSA, and corrective actions are being addressed through refurbishment programs already underway at several substations. And Chair, the regulator will continue to monitor through follow-up audits, as well as routine compliance oversight. Chair, we therefore would like to request that the subcommittee note this third quarter transmission audit submission, as well as the reports that are provided with it. Chair, we are open to take comments and questions with regard to this submission. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mathebula, for that comprehensive introduction of the submission. Members, any questions of clarity on this submission? I think all the salient features or points on this have been explained. Yes. Mr. Pukula, you may go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Mathebula, for me, it is the summary table that we have, where we are, for instance, showing the rating of Aggeneys to be close to 5, and yet when you look at the individual parameters that have been looked at, some cases, I mean, because the substation is under refurbishment, the control room, in some cases there has been no rating on that, so it's kind of 0. So it's not correlating nicely to see that a substation that got 0 in certain elements because it was still under refurbishment or because it didn't conform. But when you look at the overall, it was sitting at 5. So if we could maybe, as we do the averaging, maybe show it as an outlier, or find a way of showing the true level of Aggeneys, even with the true level of readiness or true level of operational efficiency for Aggeneys, even with the refurbishment of the control room. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Pukula, for that issue that you've raised. Mr. Mathebula, are you able to indicate how you are going to deal with the part that Mr. Pukula, the point that Mr. Pukula raised? just for
Yeah, Chair.
completeness and where there are gaps
Yes.
as well, and where you indicated, the rating in some, I think it's important. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think thanks again for Mr. Bukula for raising that. If my memory serves me well, I think he might have raised it actually before. Chair, I think I will take personal responsibility in ensuring that we look at our scorecard, Chair, in terms of the rating, so that it can be really a true representation on our summation as well, because there seems to be a discrepancy between the individual rating and the summation of the same. So, Chair, I will work with the team and review our method of scoring, so that the summation, Chair, can also correlate with the individual scores, and that will be reflected, Chair, in our future reporting. Thank you.
Thank you. But for purposes of this report, is there a way that in the next meeting, through matters arising, that we can be able to at least provide something that could explain the discrepancy and how this then performed?
Yeah, Chair, maybe let me allow, Chair, we will do that, but rather let me allow the team that did the work maybe to talk to the matter. And if there is still a need for clarity, we will take care of that, Chair. Thanks. Mr. Hope.
Thank you very much. Mr. Hopper.
Good morning, Chair, and thanks, Mr. Matebula. For Aachen, since it's a refurbishment, there was a refurbishment project which was going on. So some of the elements could not be audited. Hence there was a point whereby we were saying it's better if we agree with NTCSA that we read them at zero, with a point to say this was not audited. And the plan was that when the refurbishment project had been completed, then Aachenes will be added on as part of the substation that needs to be re-audited. So some of the elements can only be done when the full refurbishment has been done. Thanks, Chair.
Okay, let me take a follow-up question from Mr. Pukula. Mr. Pukula.
Chair, I think this is not the point that the speaker has just addressed. It is clear, it is what the report says. But the point that I'm making is what Matebula could understand, that you can't have zero in some of the areas because you have agreed. But when you look at the rating, it rates higher than those that have even scored. It's not the right statistical representation of what happened. So all I was suggesting is that for Aachenes, maybe we must remove it or put an asterisk that explains that these are the elements that have been rated in Aachenes, but the others, because it's under refurbishment and it was getting zero, it can't get to a score close to 5 when it got zero in others in the overall summary. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. I think the guidance is clear there. Just to close on this discrepancy that is happening, Mr. Matebula, I take it that you understood the guidance from Mr. Pukula in terms of just closing the gap for now, and then deal with it also in the future.
Chair, indeed, I think the guidance it's clear, Chair. We obviously should have probably indicated a footer or a note to indicate that not all elements were rated on that particular substation. But Chair, we have taken guidance. We will ensure that we adhere to such in future, and also review our scoring so that it can be a true reflection of what happened. Chair, thanks.
Thank you very much. All right, with that, members, the recommendations are on paragraph 14, and they have been read out. The subcommittee is requested to note the third quarter consolidated report, and in doing so, take note of the issue of the rating and the future reconsideration of the score card for the rating, and also just to explain the discrepancy in terms of the substation in question. With that, members, are you happy then to note the report? Thank you, Madam Semane. Thank you, Mr. Pukula. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. I also support. Thank you very much, members. Members, we are now on item looking at the now, members, we are on item number 13. Item number 13 is the noting of the round robin approval. The approval was for the publication of consultation paper on Eskom's request for a temporary electricity price relief for the negotiated pricing agreements with Samanco Chrome as well as Glencore, Merafe Chrome, Venture Ferrochrome smelters for a period of 12 months. By show of hands, members, if you are happy to note the approval of that round robin submission. Thank you, Madam Semane. Thank you, Mr. Pukula. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. That takes care of item number 13 of the agenda. Members, I'm now on item number 14 of the agenda. It is also the noting of the round robin approval. The approval was for the publication of a consultation paper on the redetermination of Eskom. Can be on the, it says Eskom's MYPD6 application, and also just to deal with the errors that were identified, and that is for the period 2025-26, 2026-27, 2027-28. Members, if you're happy to note the approval via round robin, you may please raise your hands. Thank you, Madam Semane. Thank you, Mr. Pukula. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. I also support. Members, I received a notification as I was busy. The notification is about the members of the public that are following our proceedings. I think there was an issue with the live streaming for the first two agenda items. I think it was the consultation one. So I would take the opportunity then to just indicate the decisions that were taken in respect of item number 6 of the agenda, as well as item number 7. I think those were the two items that were affected because of the live streaming that could not be that was misbehaving. The item number 6 was the consultation paper on the draft transmission development plan rules. The subcommittee has noted the development plan rules for the transmission. For the transmission development plan, and approved the publication thereof for stakeholder comments. So that has been approved, and members of the public will get an opportunity to provide their input in respect of that consultation paper on this matter. And then when it comes to item number 7, it was the temporary exemption for Castle Wind Farm from complying with clause 16.1 of the Renewable Power Plants Grid Code version 3.1. That was approved by the energy regulator in January 2022. That temporary exemption application was also approved. It was just to summarize, members, the decisions on those two items that were affected. With that, we also just apologize for the poor live streaming in that regard. We will check thoroughly next time, and our sincere apologies for that. We have now come to the end of the consideration of the substantive regulatory reports for the open part of the meeting, and we would like to thank you for following our proceedings, as we are now going to close this part of the meeting so that we can consider